Apply on the goddamn glasses. Do not be hitting yourself like, why am I not getting it? Why am I not going through? Hi guys, welcome back to another video on this channel of mine. So if you guys are new to this channel, if you're new, you're like, girl, who are you? What's the deal? Hi, my name is Lina, and you can go ahead and like and subscribe to this channel. I try to put videos, well, I'm gonna try to put videos at least once every week. All my socials are listed below, and if you're not new, you're just like, hey girl, what's up? I'm an OG subscriber. What's up, boo? So let me do a quick disclaimer on this video because it's gonna be something different. So today's video, I want to first say that I'm gonna go back to my OG roots. Now my OG subscribers, if you go like to my first videos, you do see it's something different than my usual story times. And the reason for that is because when I first started YouTube, I wanted to be like the big sister of YouTube. You know, I wanted to be girls big sis or share advice or, you know, just along the lines of that. It turned into story times because a lot of dumb stuff happened to me and all this craziness that I'm just like, I kept telling people that were close to me stories. They would laugh and be like, you need to put that on YouTube, and that's where it came from. However, I'm gonna pause on the story times. I'm gonna save that for like, you know, further down. And now I want to touch base on something. I like to put content that revolves around my life, and currently I am discovering so many new things. I'm just like, it feels like that.
Holy shit.
I need a vacation.
I feel like all of us have gone through stuff. We've all have learned. We're trying to figure out all this, and it's just like, girl, it's very crazy. So anyways, today's topic is going to be something different. So I want to start off with saying that I was one of those people, you know, I used to, should I say, be like, oh, if I had that closure, I need closure. And I used to be one of those people that were like, you know, I could be dating somebody, and if my ex comes and talks to me, like, I would hope my new person understands I need that closure, right? If you ask me the same thing now, like, do you believe in closure? Do you believe in meeting up with someone, fixing things, and then moving on? If you ask me that now, I can full-heartedly say this. Absolutely not. Nope. Point blank, period. Nope.
Throw it away, girl.
And what changed my mind, right? Because like I said, I used to be a hardcore, like, I used to believe in that. I feel like I've learned so much that it's like, I don't need that. The betrayal, the ending, however, like I said, this is going towards friendship, or friends, exes, family, just anybody that you were once close to, whatever they may be to you. I'm gonna say it goes for everyone. No, absolutely not. I do not need the closure. I'm good. Whatever they did for you to break apart, for you to no longer want them in your life or to push them out of your life, that is your closure, sis. And it hurts and it sucks, but that's the closure. That's your answer. Because I fully believe, and again, this goes into like, everyone has their own opinions. I used to be the one that was like, you get one chance with me and that's it. You're done, period. Like, there's no going back. Second chances. Like I said, I'm going to share with you guys some stories on how I did give different people second chances and it just didn't. So like I said, that's why I'm going more towards this side with the one chance. Because by me giving these people second chances, it literally just what's the word I'm looking for? It like re-established that, hey, you giving them one chance and cutting them off was the perfect thing to do, you know? So let's jump into this, you guys. So like I said, there's certain people in my life that I've missed dearly. I'm going to start with the first person. So this person, I'm going to keep it very vague. This person once upon a time ago was like a sister to me. And I don't know, like, why girls do this, but I don't know if you girls can relate, but like, don't you hate it when you're close with one of the, like, your girl, you know, your bestie, your best friend, you're close with her, that's your girl, that's your sister, that's your ride or die, right? And then she comes one day and she's like, oh, I want you to meet this friend. And you're looking at the friend and you're like you already know either that friend like starts looking at you weird, like she just goes like this. It doesn't, you're like, fuck. Like, you already get weird vibes. Or like you ask your friend, you know, when obviously that friend's not there, like, oh, what happened? And she's like, oh, we had a falling out. And you're just like, you know, it starts to be like red flag type of thing. So basically with this girl, like I said, I felt like that was my sister. And she brought this girl around, and from the get-go, this girl, I could tell she didn't like me. I could tell, you know, little comments here and there. Like, for instance, there was a time where like all three of us were going out to the club, and her makeup was I don't want to say it was like not blended, her eyeshadow, but it was like, you know, like a little patchy. That's a little patchy. But this girl was so naturally pretty that it didn't freaking matter if it wasn't blended right. So she tells me, oh, you know, I do my makeup real quickly, like, what do you think? And I said, girl, honestly, and I'm very straight up, I told her the same thing. I was like, you're so pretty that you can't even tell that it wasn't like blended properly, and I meant it. And she's just like, okay, thanks. Hey. And I'm just like, what did you get out of that? I'm so confused. What did you, your makeup's messed up, not mine. Like, you're the one that's telling me it's not blended, not mine. You know? So there was comments like that where I was just like, this girl is a hater. And I try to tell my friend, and it's like, sis, if y'all already had a falling out, she's gonna come in here, you know, it goes without saying. And it's just like, it's one of those things, you guys. So we had a falling out because apparently this friend went, and before I even get to that on how I even knew, because I didn't know until after we met up years later, from what I knew at the time is that like I thought it was my best friend that went and told somebody something that they were not supposed to know, because that person was trying to play me, and back in the day I was very petty. So it wasn't right, but I was playing them back. I was like,
I'm not a player, I
and you guys know how that is, where it's like you being a little petty and like your girlfriends support it, they know about it, and then when they go and they tell the person like, oh, by the way, you know, she's playing you, it's just like, what the fuck? Like, you're supposed to be my homegirl, like, what's up with that? And I was like, but that's my sister, like, why would she do that? And I've come to learn that the reason you don't understand why people do stuff is because you would never ever do it to them to begin with. So that's why you feel that betrayal of like, wow, like, that's some fucked up shit, you know? I was at a time in my life where I was like, who do I miss? Like, just randomly one day I was like, who do I miss? And I was like, I miss my sister. And I referred to her like that, like my sister. And one day I'm like, you know what? And she's one of those people that like, she doesn't believe in blocking people. We're opposite in that. I do believe in blocking people because I don't need that foo-foo energy. I don't need that connection. Like, once I feel like you have done something towards me, I don't want that connection, like, to not only be available to them, but I don't need it to be that easy. If you want to come back into my life, you have to figure out how to reach me, to be honest, because it's not going to be that easy, because you got to start from scratch. You know, you don't know me anymore, so you got to come correct again. Versus her, she's very like, oh, I don't care who watches my stuff, this, and to each their own. Like I said, I have my reasons, she has her reasons. So I had blocked her on my Instagram, but she hadn't blocked me. So one day, you know, I'm like, let me put my pride to the side, you know, me trying to be different, I guess, I don't know, put my pride to the side, and I was like, let me reach out to her. Like, I really missed her. I really could talk to her, like, I don't know, just something in me. And I did. I unblocked her, I messaged her, and I just told her, I was like, hey, there's no bad blood. I still wish the best for you. I still have love for you. I would like to reconnect and see what the heck went wrong. And you guys, we did. And I'm not gonna diss this person, but there was signs. And I fully believe that everything that I'm about to tell you, of the stories and stuff, of how I knew that these certain people didn't belong in my life again, I fully believe that it was supposed to happen for a reason. I truly believe everything in your life happens for a reason. So when we pull up to the restaurant, and it's like in a kind of fancy city, you know, it's a fancy restaurant. And the first kind of red flag, I was like, oh, you're still dressing like that type of thing. So when I dressed with her, to go to the club, like, she would always tell me like, girl, like, she would encourage me, like, show more this, you know, show more this, like, high heels. Like, she was the type of girl that she would wear like the highest, no, not the highest, but like the cutest heels. and they would hurt her feet at the end of the night, versus me, like I would go for something more comfy like that, but like not in the bad, like in a bad way. Like she looked good, she was gonna make sure she looked good type of thing, versus me, like I said, I'm more on the comfy side. So I was really used to that because she used to encourage me to dress more out there. So when we go to dinner, I'm already in that like time, that place in my life that like I let my stuff speak for me. So like I show up in my Louis Vuitton. I have the Malibu, I think it's called the Malibu backpack, that Louis Vuitton little brown mini backpack, you know. I have that, and that's what I mean by I let my stuff speak for me now. And then I had my Uggs, my little, what's it called? Not Ugg boots, my Ugg sandals. I don't know what they're called. But you know, like they have on the back, is like a fuzzy, let me see, I have them here. I wear these, you guys. These are my go-to. I love these things. So I wear my Uggs, and like I said, I let my accessories speak for themselves. Now these are like 100 something, right? That mini, my little LV mini bag, that's like already an amount. So like I said, I let my accessories speak for me. So I go in like a kind of, how to put it, like a bodysuit, but it's like short, like not like a full length, you know, bodysuit is like short, a jumper, whatever you want to call it, you know, it's like kind of like a bodysuit. And like I said, you know, I zip it, has a little zipper in the middle, I put it like right here, not showing too much. I have my jewelry, my makeup, got my lashes, and like I said, I have my backpack and my Ugg sandals, whatever you want to call it, my slides, there we go, my Ugg slides. And that's how I came. And like I said, I'm already past the point on getting attention. Like I said, my accessories speak for me. And Miss Girl came, and I was like, oh. And she looked beautiful, she looked gorgeous. And Miss Girl came, and she had a halter, and like, you know, everything was popping, and she had like some cute jeans and like some crystal heels, and she looked good. But like it was the opposite, you know. And she looked at me, I looked at her, and I was like, oh my bad, I didn't know we were like going out like that, because it was just like dinner. It wasn't like dinner in the club, you know, it was just dinner. And to me, dinner, like I said, my style now is I go out in comfy stuff, nothing too like revealing or whatever, and then I let my accessories speak for me. And she looked at me and she was like, oh, because when we knew each other, we were just in our 20s, like we were like 20, I think barely 21. So now that we're, you know, a little bit older, we're like, I think she's my age too, so like we're like 26. She's not used to seeing me with luxury stuff, with designer stuff, whatever you want to call it, and I'm just not used to her in general, you know, because it's been that time apart that we haven't spoken. So we're both just kind of paused, we're looking at each other like and the conversation starts flowing, and it's like nothing, like no time had passed. Like we're both like this, like, yeah girl, oh my god, and what happened with this, and what happened with this person, and what happened with this person, right? It's like no time has passed. And I will say this, when you do reunite with somebody, with your friends or whoever, the saddest thing is like there's this tiny moment where I swear it feels like old times. And I think that's what's so sad about it, because it's like a final farewell. Like you can tell when it's going to be the last conversation you guys ever have. So it was something like that where we start talking, and I'm just like, damn, it's like no time has passed. And we start bringing up people that were like, oh, I forgot about that person, this, and this. And then you pause. And like, as much as like you're going and you're like, oh, this is awesome, like I got my friend back, or I got my person back, whoever it may be, you're like brought back to reality, and it's like red flag, red flag, red flag. And it's like, damn. It sucks. And I knew it, because I told her, I was like, you know, I'm not trying to meet anybody, like I'm just doing my thing, you know. And I told her my business adventures way before I even like started making money off of anything I'm doing now. And I shared with her my business ventures, and I was like, I no longer really go clubbing, that's not my thing anymore. And like I said, back in the day, we used to club all the time, we used to go all the time. So she was a little bit like, oh. And she tells me, when she gave me like a certain advice, that's when I knew it was like, we are on different life paths and it's okay, but I don't think we're gonna continue, you know. And the advice she gave me was like, oh, you know, go and meet people and F it and like have fun, like do your thing, girl. And us girls, we know what that means, you know. So when she's telling me like, do your thing, go have fun, don't be serious with no guy. And to me, I'm not on there anymore. That's not my path anymore. Like, that was fun when I was 21, 22. But now it's like I'm a grown ass woman. Like, I can't be in the club and to each their own, but this is my personal feelings. I can't be at the club at 25, 26 talking about to the window, to the wall. Like, you know, it's just like, it's different. Like, obviously, it's like, if my man wants to go to the club, like, we're going as a couple, we're gonna go have fun. But like, to make it like the way she was saying, like, oh, go out like every weekend and Evan and, you know, have fun type of thing, I'm like, not these days and times with COVID. I ain't gonna have no. You girls know what I'm talking about. So when it's so casual like that, I'm looking and I'm like, oh, you're still a party girl. Okay. And like I said, that's where it's like you start to see the red flags and you're like, oof, okay. Because I'm past that, and to each their own, baby girl. But it's something where I was like, okay. And I found out like when that whole thing went down, because I know some of y'all are like, okay, but what happened? How did you know, what happened with that situation? So with the situation, I sadly found out that it wasn't even her. It wasn't even my friend that told the person, you know, the guy that I was like trying to be petty with back. It was that friend, the one that I said in the beginning that I was having like weird feelings. Like, I knew she was a snake. I knew it. That friend, I guess, got like drunk one time. All three of them went out, and that friend spilled the beans to the guy. And I knew it from the get-go. And it was funny because, well, funny but not funny for her. A couple of months after me and her, I had just left the situation. Her and that friend stayed friends. It always ends like that, right? Yeah. So that friend got me out of the way. I left. They stayed friends. And then it was funny because a couple of months later, she did something to her again. I found out on that same day that we had dinner. I found out when I asked her, oh, are you still friends with her? She was like, no. She did a tantrum, and exactly the reason why they weren't friends in the beginning, like why they fell off to begin with, was the exact same reason why they fell off a second time, which I already knew that, because once a snake, always a snake. I'm gonna say a real quick quote and continue with the story. There's a quote, I might put it somewhere here, and I've kept it in my phone ever since I've seen it, and I truly, truly believe in it. It goes something like this. I know if it's up on the screen, just read it with me. It's something like, a woman stopped in the middle of the road and picked up a snake that was harmed. She nursed it back to health, and the snake bit her. And on this woman's deathbed, she asked the snake, why did you bite me after everything I did for you? The snake replied, you knew I was a snake when you first picked me up. And I have always kept that quote in the back of my head, because once a snake, always a snake. They're gonna bite you, and you gotta not pick that snake up. As cute as it looks, as colorful as it looks, you just gotta, not my situation. And I had already knew that was gonna happen, but the thing is that I gotta remember that I walked away. Did I come back? Yes, because I figured there's something there. But initially I walked away because my worth was more, because I don't play that fake friendship shit. However, I have to remember at that time and now I've accepted, if she was truly my friend, she would not have let that friend ruin this brand new friendship, that there was no bad, nothing on it. Me and her never argued. Me and her never fought. It was never, I don't remember ever arguing with her or being on bad terms with this girl. However, she chose this girl that they had already had issues and situations. She let this girl cloud her judgment and ruin this brand new friendship that could have benefited her. Because unfortunately, I am one of those friends that if you're close to me or people in general, I'm going to share it with you right now. I'm not saying that this girl is like, oh, you lost out. Not at all. But I'm one of those friends that if we had gone out to dinner and I had a little extra, you know, I would have been like, girl, don't worry about it. I got dinner. We got free drinks. I'm like, girl, don't worry about it, you know. Or if she asked me like, oh, how do you do this? How do you do that? I would have had no problem sharing my knowledge. I don't believe in gatekeeping. I believe in putting all my girls on, anyone that's close to me on, as long as you don't show me that you're a two-face. And sadly, people will show you exactly that. So with that being said, when she told me the truth, I was like, wow, that sucks, because your judgment is what, you know, and you let this person that you knew was no good come and ruin this friendship. So with that being said, when everything was said and done, I already knew, because we walked, you know, she parked another way, I parked like complete opposite way. I knew in my heart that I wouldn't see this girl again. I already knew. And we had messaged each other here and there, you know, but it wasn't the same. The energy wasn't there. I would be commenting on her stuff, being like, yes, girl, this and this, how I used to. She wouldn't do it back to me. She would like it, but the energy wasn't there. That's what I knew. I was like, okay, you know what is good. Did I get my closure? Yes and no. Because the thing is, when you go looking for answers, you already know the answers. If you would have asked the me version back in the day, like, why did that girl do that to you? I already knew in the back of my head that it was that friend. I already knew that friend was no good. So now future Lina already knew that. It was already there. I just feel like we sometimes need that reassurance of, yeah, this was the answer. This was the reason. So we can feel better about ourselves, about it happening. But also, you don't need that answer because you already know the answer. You just want that extra yes. And that's why I'm a person now where my opinion has changed. I don't need that sorry. I don't need that apology. I don't need that. I had the word and I lost it. The closure. I don't need it anymore. Your betrayal, your actions was my closure, baby. That's how I feel. It is what it is. Like I said, I got answers I needed, but there were answers I already knew. So y'all, you still with me? We're gonna go on story number 2. So story number 2, before I say this, I want to say a quick thing. You're gonna keep meeting the same people in different bodies as long as you don't learn your lesson. So that's what I want to share with you guys. Learn from my stuff. You know, if you can get any advice from this video, then that's what it's for, sis. This next person was in a time of my life that was after this girl. So that was a time frame where I was still partying, but I had been with like more towards like the model, like that's when I transitioned already to the industry, the modeling industry. So I was more heavily into modeling. I was super well connected. Like I was going, that's the time where I was going like mansion parties in Hollywood, collabing with other girl models or both guys and girl models. Like I was really in my, like I was doing the damn thing type of thing, you know. That was when I was really at it. So that's the time frame. And with that, so it was my fault again. I guess I just didn't learn. So again, this person, same mindset. They don't block, I block. So one day I was like, I saw his number and I'm like, I'm gonna text him. So I unblock him and I text him, I'm like, hey, same thing. I'm like, no bad blood, like what's, you know, I miss you, blah blah blah. He tells me like, yeah, you know, no bad blood here, like let's meet up. And after like some time where we're like trying to match a day, we meet up. It was funny because when I went over there, he looks at me, he was like, oh my gosh, like girl, like I look completely different because like you guys, you know, with like the modeling, like you're super fit, you're super toned, like you're just the tiniest toned, you know. And when he seen me, he's like, god damn, that was the first thing he said. He was like, god damn, like I'm over here with like a booty and thighs and like, you know, you grow into your shape as a woman. Like, you know how like, at least for me, I was a late bloomer, so like I always was like, you know, blessed up here, but the thigh and the booty it didn't come until like 2 years ago. So like I had that and he sees me, he's like, god damn, where'd you get that wagon in the back? And I'm like, be quiet, this is not what you tell me when you first see me after years. So again, like this felt a little bit more better than like the first person, where we were still like, you know, this was like right away, like we're just like, hey, like right away we stepped into who we used to be with each other, and right away was like joking and this and that, and we're just trying to relearn each other. So it was a better situation than the first one, because not only was there past stuff that we were talking about and going over, but we were relearning stuff. And it's like, I feel like in order for something to work that was, you know, like back in the day or whatever, you have to relearn the person, like get the old foundation grounds that you guys had, but then also relearn who they are now, because obviously you're different, you know. And it was funny because he's like, let's go clubbing, let's do what we used to do, and I'm like, I don't do that. And he's like, what? Like, what? My club girl, my drink, like, you don't do that? And I'm like, no, boy, I like fancy dinners, you know. So like stuff like that. And it was funny because he has his own place and it's in a nice city. So I was going over there, and I was like, you know, just getting away over there with my friend. And it was funny because, like, you know, when you're hanging out with your friend and you're just like right there, like you guys could be like doing separate things. Like he would be on his computer like editing, you know, and stuff, and I would be on my phone like this, just like on my stomach, like on his bed, like that, right? And we're like, obviously, like he's doing his thing, I'm doing mine, and like he will pause and look at me, and I'm just like, what? Like, what? And he would just look at me, and I kid you not, like there's so many times that he would do that, and he would look at me and be like, I can't believe you're really here. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And he would be like, yeah, like I can't believe you're on my bed, you're chilling, you're in my new home, like. And I said, what am I doing here? I don't know. And it was funny like that, like he would legit pause and be like, what do you, like it was such like, I think a nostalgia thing for him, because he was like, I would have never thought you would be back in my life. And I'm like, I know, right? Me too. And that situation, it was something of like, we reunited, it was nice, but at the end of the day, it has to do with motives. And I just had this feeling of like, the person knew, even though I wasn't like as connected as I was back in the day, because I did withdraw from the modeling industry to pursue other social media stuff. I feel like this person was trying to bring me back there, and that's not where I'm going. That was a fun chapter, and I'm very like that. Like I'll get bored with stuff and like jump, and then okay, cool, I mastered it, and then I get bored, and then let me try this, and then let me try this. And that's how I've always been. So I think this person was trying to get me back to there, where I was like this super into the modeling industry, and that's not where I'm at anymore. So I think it was like a thing where we would have stuff, or like not necessarily arguments, but it was like conversations of like, oh, but you know, this and this, and I'm like, I'm not there. Like it was right away, it was like, let's do a shoot together, let's work together, let's collab. And I'm just like, I'm not doing that. Like I want to be your friend for you, not be your friend that for the collabs, or however you want to say it, for the content. And when the intentions are different, that's also another thing. So that was the difference between this person and the last person. The intentions weren't matching up, and I felt like it felt more like a clout thing, which is funny because, again, like I said, this is backing up where whatever reason you stop being friends with these people, or you left them or broke up with them, whatever the case may be, with this particular person, whoever it may be, it's always going to be the reason why you're not friends again with them. So this original person, I stopped being friends with him because I felt he was clout like hungry. And it's funny because the reason we stopped being friends again, I was just like, no, because I felt he was clout hungry. Y'all see the pattern? It's like the fly hitting itself on the window. I'm like, Lina, come on. So it was something where like one day, because my time is like, I try to like plan ahead, so I'm like never like rushing anywhere. And it was something where he was like, oh, you know, let's shoot on this day. And I finally gave him, I was like, okay. And then I was like, hey, you know, this, and this. And like, we weren't agreeing on the time. And like, it went from like, no, I can't, to yes, I can. And I'm like, you know, us girls, you know how it is to do our hair, our makeup, our outfit, to pack like multiple outfits for a photo shoot or whatever. It takes a while. So it being, I think it was already late, like at 9 or 10 at night. I got work tomorrow, you know, early in the morning. I still have to do my makeup, my hair, I gotta pack my outfits, and it's like I can't just run when you decide to want to do content all of a sudden. So unfortunately, we just weren't, you know, and I felt too content like hungry, too clout hungry. Like I just, it was the same vibes, you guys. So as much as that friendship, it was like different, and it could have, I feel like it could have developed to maybe being friends again. It ultimately brought me back to the first step where it's like, hey, you guys weren't friends to begin with. Gotta keep it that way, you know? So that was that. Now the third one and this one, okay, this one was, I think, the most random one. So this next person I went to high school with. So this brought me all the way back to a place that I have not visited. And I think this one was the hardest one. So obviously these two, recent but not recent, just a couple of years ago, right? We're talking about high school. Like I hadn't seen this person since sophomore, junior year, around there. Like I said, it's been a couple of years. So randomly, and I don't know why people do this. So people go on like my business email and they'll email me to try to talk to me. It's been happening a lot. So I see like the name of the email and I'm like, I know the name. I know this person. I'm like, is that person? Like, no, that's not. They must have just the same name of someone I knew in high school, you know? And I read the email and it's like, hey, and they call me a nickname that only they would call me. And I right away, I'm like, that's them. And it's weird. Like, I'm not called that. Nobody calls me that, you know? So it's just so weird. Like, everyone calls me Lina. So I'm like, that's how, like, there's just too much time passed. And it's like, I know if you don't want to reach out to me, but I always wonder how you're doing. And I just found that you're a model and I'm so proud of you and blah, blah, blah. It always be like that, right? I'm so proud of you. Okay. But anyway, so I'm like super excited. I'm like, yeah. And I'm trying to rack my brain. Like, did this person do anything to me? I was like, I don't think so. I think we legit just lost touch. And I was like, all right, they didn't do anything to me. Cool. Yeah, we'll be friends. That's fine. Like, there's no, okay, cool. And we reunited and it was awesome. We had similar interests. Like, we could relate. However, this is a plot twist on this one that it didn't have with these other two. Like I said, different situations. And if you can resonate with any of them, I feel your pain, girl. So I feel like it was legit a test from life. I feel like it legit was like, let me see if you're going to keep being the fly with the window, you know? And it was really, really nice. But the person did not know me at all. I was not that little high schooler anymore. And I think it was really hard for them to process that because like everything, it was like an amazement. Like we went to lunch, a quick lunch after working on our cars together. And like he was tripping out. Like he's like, I think, and I'm not even like sugarcoating you guys. Like he literally looked at me and he's like, I think you're the prettiest person in here. And I'm like, what? I'm over here with my burger like, what? Come again? He's like, I think you're the prettiest person in here. And I'm like, oh, thank you. Like, that's so sweet. He's like, yeah. Like, stuff like that. It was like, man, he was like, I can't believe you always talked about having this car, you know, my sport car that I have. He's like, you always talked about having this car in high school. Like, I can't believe you have it. Like, everything was such an amazement. And there's nothing wrong with that, but it made me feel like it really just shined such a bright light on like how much they just didn't know who I was. So like I feel like I had to explain every little thing where I was like, oh, and how does that influencer thing work, and how does modeling work, how does this, is like I had to like, you know, like talk about myself pretty much like the whole time. And it was really annoying because it's like I feel like just hang out with the person and you'll get to it's like re-knowing them. Like I said, it's like you know, like you had access to that person, that access is cut off, and then you got to relearn their habits, their weird things they do, you know, their personality, their gestures, their like that. You got to relearn it, and that's the sucky part. That's the part where the work comes in, you know. But by just asking someone 24/7, like, oh, it already was like, you know, I was already like, damn, you just really don't know who I am anymore, and you're not putting in the work to learn it. So that was already issue 1. Red flag number 2 for me was that the reason this one was more painful was because like they saw me in a different light. At the same time, they really put me on a pedestal of like, wow, you're this successful business model, they really put me on a pedestal like that. At the same time, like, they brought me back to a place that I no longer resonated. I put that Lina, that version of me, I stored her away, and I never came back because that's not who I am. And it was like, oh, remember in high school when these people did this to you and that to you? And see, that right there, I was like, wait a minute. My high school years were amazing. I had great friends. Like, it was such a good experience. The only thing I will say is, like, you know, there's dudes that they get mad when you don't date them, and that's it. That's it. You get the guys that are like, oh, well, she thinks she's all that. And I literally, it's just because I denied dating them. I didn't like them like that, and that's it. So he was talking like that about them, and he's like, remember when they picked on you and they bullied you? And I'm thinking in my head, when the hell was I bullied? And it's weird. Like, if anybody that watches the YouTube channel, you went to high school with me, I don't remember getting bullied. Y'all see me get bullied? Because I had a big mouth back in the day too. I was like, I don't remember getting bullied. I don't remember that. But he was like, yeah, I remember when they picked on you and this and that. And I'm like, did we go to different high schools? Like, what's the... So it was like that. Like, he was putting me in like a victim mentality, which it never happened, boo. I'm like, what? You mean the guys that would go around saying that I was stuck up and I was conceited because I didn't want to date them? That's not bullying. They're just stupid as hell. Like... But anyway, so he was painting me in that picture that I didn't claim it, that never. And it was like talking about the past and this and that and just like a very negative thing. And it's like, wait a minute, high school Lina was years ago. I had such a, like I said, I had such a nice high school experience that it was awesome. So I packed that nice experience and I placed it on the shelf of my life. And I'm now this woman that does this, this, and this, you know? That's why I'm like, I'm not there. I feel like I can't, in order to go forward, whatever you have lined up here, you can't be visiting the past because it's going to mess up everything lined up here. So I felt like my energy shift, and it was something where I'm like, you know what? If I keep hanging around this person, I feel like their negativity on how they swear that I'm not this person that they think I was, or however they remember me as, it's going to cloud this woman that I am today. So it was like that. And then thirdly, it was just like a thing where the person was like, just the topics were very negative. It was very like, oh, you know, I'm this and this and this. And I'm just like, I don't joke around in a certain way. Like, that one is like similar to the first person where it was like, oh, just date and have your fun. Like, this version was like, oh, I'll just date anybody. Like, I just hate being single and this and this. And I'm just like, you can't have someone with a negative mindset like that, because I'm not there. My life doesn't revolve around a person, you know, my life revolves around me. So it's just like, you see where I'm just like, oof. Like, so that one was hard to say goodbye because it really was nice having them in my life. But I do feel that every person, even though these two I did go back and this one just found me, I feel like it was all supposed to consecutively hit at the period of time that it did, because literally it's like I was friends with this girl, and then, you know, this friendship began, and then I stopped with her, and then this friendship kept going, and then it stopped, and then this one started, and then it's like, you know, I feel like it flowed all together, and I feel like it was meant to happen to show me, hey girl, no. So those are the stories. They're all different. All of them was in a place of my life of like, it's just so crazy. Like, who is the next person that's gonna come and visit me again, you know, in a way? Like, who's in someone from elementary? Like, oh, hey girl, I knew you from elementary school. Like, sheesh. It feels like you have high school, and then you have after high school, and then you have like your modeling. Like life was really like, hey girl, test number 1, boom, okay, you got that. Test number 2, boom, got that. Okay, here's the final, you know, past the final. And all I can say is that, you know what, I am fully okay. And not having that closure, I'm fully okay. And not re-meeting with someone, I don't feel like it's necessary anymore. I really don't, because at the end of the day, that few minutes of being near them, and like I said, like the first person, like when I smelled her perfume, and I could only say her because it's not like these two guys, they like, there was like a cologne they wore or anything, I can't say that, but I will say with my ex-best friend, when I smelled her perfume and like her mannerisms, because like I said, I knew her a little bit better than, you know, these two, because I didn't pay attention to stuff like that at the time. Like it felt nice for the beginning, and I was like, oh, like damn, that perfume smells familiar. Like her being like, yeah, you know, like she did this little thing, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so familiar. As good as it feels for the tiny little minutes of being in that person's presence and seeing little things that you liked about them or that made them them, at the end of the day, it's gonna, the high is gonna be like here, and it's just gonna like that, because it's gonna be like, wait a minute, whatever the reason that you two had a falling out in the beginning is always going to come back and be the reason why. And it sucks, but that's how it is. So you guys, take it from me. Like I said, life was really on a good one. Life was really like, hey girl, like let's see if you're still dumb. And I was like, So at this point in time, I'm gonna say this, you guys, I'm gonna end it off with this. Even today, oh my god, even today, someone that I don't even speak to, and the reason I don't, well, actually, I'm not even gonna say it, because I feel like at this point in time, like, we don't need to say why we just cut off people. Like, they already know what they did. But anyways, there's this person that I used to be cool with, and they just like weren't someone of their word. That's all I'm gonna say. And they followed me on my TikTok. They had a second account, follow me on my Instagram. And it's like, there's no shame there. Like, you're blocked for a reason on my personal one. Why would you go out of your way to contact me? And it's stuff like that where it's still happening, where people I haven't spoken to will like my stuff or make another account to see my stuff. And it's just like, I already learned from these three, from the different times of my life. They already, you know, I already learned here. I know life is just being petty, and it's just like, here girl, I'm gonna throw this person, this. I've learned my lesson. Like I said, I'm just staying away. And I kid you not, you guys, after that situation, I want to say like 3 other people, including the second person, because the second person, I forgot to block them on something, and they still were like, I'm gonna go ahead and like this because you forgot to block me on here. And it's like, you know, like they still will try. And I just feel like, learn your lesson. Do not be like the fly on the mirror or the wall, or the wall, fly on the wall, the fly on the goddamn glasses. Do not be hitting yourself like, why am I not getting it? Why am I not going through? Learn your lessons. Life is literally gonna send you the same people in different bodies until you get that lesson. I already got my lesson, and I'm watching, and I'm just like, I'm here. I'm like, nope, I'm here. And like I said, if you take anything from this video, please remember that quote of the snake and the lady, where homegirl was just trying to take care of the snake, and the snake was like, bitch, fuck you, I'm gonna bite you and get the chingas. You know, so learn from that, you guys. That quote has saved my butt so many times, and I'm done. Like I said, if they cannot treat you good the first time, baby girl, what makes you think they're gonna treat you better the second time? They know what they're doing. People are not as stupid as they come off as. People know what they're doing. Because let me just switch it real quick, because I feel like I'm preaching. I feel like I'm in the zone. Let me switch it real quick. You know what you're doing, right? Ask yourself, would I have done what they did to me? If the answer is no, girl, there we go. There we go. Because they did it, and it's something so like, what the, you know? Because you could never do it to them. You could never see yourself doing that. So keep that in mind. You couldn't do it to them, but they did it to you. But anyways, you guys, I hope I hope you guys got something from this video. I know it's a different topic. I'm gonna go ahead and start a new series. I'm gonna have some girl talk, and don't worry, if you guys are my fans that are like, girl, story time. I got story time. Just give me a minute. Give me a minute. I gotta get back on this YouTube thing. I got you. And I will see you guys on my next one. Stay safe out there, and y'all remember my snake quote, okay? Do not let these people walk all over you. Don't let them tell you, oh, but I'm sorry and I want to talk to you again. Stay strong, okay, babes? Stay strong. Love you guys. I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.
When I flex with it, they upset with it. Got ex-friends that can't flex with me. They mad, so they talk shit about me, but ain't nothing about me. They ain't real about me. They ain't real about me. That's all facts. They talk shit, but that's all cap. Only time I got my head